We're living in a world that is just overflowing with information. Your voice, your idea, your message. It's basically in a battle for survival every single day. And in that battle, how you communicate, that's not just a skill, it's your biggest advantage.
Just think about your typical work week for a second. On average, we spend about 5.6 hours in meetings every single week. That's almost a full workday just dedicated to presenting and communicating. I mean, that is a huge chunk of our most precious resource, our time. But here's the part that's kind of crazy. Nearly 70% of those meetings, they're considered a waste of time. That is a massive productivity drain. It means that for all the talking we're doing, very little is actually landing or inspiring anyone or leading to real action. We're just adding to the noise.
So this is the challenge we're all up against, right? In this constant storm of data and emails and presentations, how do you make sure your idea is the one that actually gets through? How do you become the signal instead of just more static?
Well, what if I told you there's a framework for this? Kind of like a secret weapon, designed not just to help you share information, but to create real, actual change every single time you speak.
And here it is. It's called the TIPS method, and it was developed by Dr. Kushal H. Desai. It's this really simple but powerful way to design presentations that, actually work. The kind that influence people, make a real impact, and stick with them long after you're done talking. Okay, so let's get into it. Think of this like your map, or maybe your training montage scene in a movie. Your journey to becoming a powerhouse presenter has 4 key stages, each one building on the last: target, information, process, and style. Let's start at the beginning.
So your first trial is mastering the T for target. And honestly, this is where most presentations totally fail before they even start. It's all about deeply understanding who you're talking to.
This quote from Eric Barker just nails it. A great presentation isn't you just talking at people. It's a conversation. It doesn't start with what you want to say. It starts with what your audience needs to hear. Are they engineers who want all the data? Or are they execs who just want the bottom line? Your message has to be a bridge from their world over to yours.
Okay, let's move on. Once you've locked in your audience, you hit your second challenge, mastering the I for information. And this is all about picking the right fuel for your message.
Now this slide gets at a really fundamental truth about how our brains are wired. You can say something like, customer churn is up 5%. And okay, it's a number, it's abstract. But what if you tell the story of one specific frustrated customer who left? All of a sudden, that 5% has a face, it has emotion. See, stories connect with us. They paint pictures in our heads, and they're remembered way after the numbers are gone.
All right, so you've got your audience in your sights and you've got compelling information ready. Your third test is mastering the P for process. This is all about the structure. It's basically the blueprint for your story. So process really has 2 parts. First, you've got to be ruthless with your information. What absolutely has to be in there and what can you cut out? Remember, less is almost always more. And second, it's about arranging those key pieces in a logical way that just guides your audience from one point to the next super smoothly.
We're almost there. You've got a message that's targeted, it's story-driven, and it's well-structured. The final stage is mastering the S for style. This is about how you actually bring that message to life. And here's the crucial thing about style. It's not about being some slick salesperson or trying to copy someone else's vibe. It's about finding your authentic voice. You need to understand your own natural style. Think about how you come across, and be brave enough to ask people for honest feedback. Real charisma, it comes from being confident and just being yourself. So, you've done it. You've gone through the whole journey. You've mastered target, information, process, and style. What's the payoff for all that work? What new power have you just unlocked?
Well, first, you gain the power to influence, the power to actually change what your audience thinks and how they feel. Your ideas don't just get heard anymore, they get adopted. And next, you get the ability to create real impact. Your presentations stop being just another status update, and they start becoming catalysts for action. You start making things happen.
And this is the ultimate reward. You learn how to cut through all that noise we talked about. In a world that's full of distractions, your message becomes the one that gets heard, gets remembered, and actually gets acted on. When you boil it all down, it comes back to this. Truly impactful communication isn't about having the flashiest slides or the most complicated data. It's about creating powerful, vivid images in people's minds and forging a real, human connection with them.
You have the framework now.
You have all the tools. So, the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? What's the important idea you're going to bring to life? What story will you tell?